Pipe Network presents Unpacking Social, Political, and Economic Issues only in the Philippines with Nick Satur Jr.
Okay, good afternoon. Good day to each and every one of you. Once again, this is Only in the Philippines with Nick Satur Jr. Now, we all know that the COVID-19 pandemic has severely hurt job opportunities to young people all over the Philippines. No, maraming nawalan ng trabaho and since 2020, it had created an impact not only in the economic labor force, but as well as it had a ripple effect towards our way of life. Now we have with us Ma'am Sheryn, the CEO rockstar of Sphere Rocket. No, and she will be discussing today, what are some of the challenges that she experienced during the pandemic, as well as how did she actually overcome these challenges. There you go, Miss Shireen. Thank you for gracing Only in the Philippines with Nick Satur Jr. and we're happy to have you here.
Thank you very much for this invitation. And I'm happy to be part of this session, this one on one session with you. And I'll be more than willing to share my very own experiences and how I was uh, able to make it in this position from the time I started to right now. So, yeah.
Yes. So, ma'am, can you tell us more about who you are so our viewers in Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao would know who Ma'am Shireen is?
Yes, before anything else, my name is Sheryn. Sheryn Mendoza as my full name, and I am the Sphere Rocket Virtual Assistants on-site CEO and part owner of the company.
There you go. So, ma'am, what is Spear Rocket?
Sphere Rocket is actually a recruitment firm,
Mhm.
but in the VA world, technically speaking, we can tag Sphere Rocket as a virtual assistant agency. But we ourselves, as Sphere Rocket, we don't tag ourselves as a virtual recruitment agency because virtual recruitment agency or VA agency all over the Philippines, they operate differently. We have a different business model.
Okay.
Just to give you an information about the virtual assistant agency here in the Philippines, usually if you are an applicant, you will apply with the virtual assistant agency or VA agency.
Mhm.
And this VA agency, they have clients all over the US, UK, or overseas, whichever part of the country. All right.
Mhm.
And once you pass their assessment and their interview, you will be paired with a client of theirs. The way they operate is yes, you'll be working with the client, but you are not technically employed by the client directly. You are still employed by the VA agency, and your salary will come from the VA agency. That's our difference. Because Fear Rocket, our model is that's why we are very famous, and a lot of applicants and virtual assistants who have been in the business for a very long time, they love Sphere Rocket because we do source applicants, we interview them, and we pair them. We do profile matching with our clients. 90% of our clients is real estate business owners in the US. And once you are hired by one of our clients, you will be directly employed by the client, but not as if that you are a normal employee in the US because that is different. You need to be in the US.
Has the pandemic had adversely affected Spear Rocket?
I would say no. Actually, that was the time that we level up and we boom. There's a lot of virtual assistant or VA agency that really went out of business. And for us, Sphere Rocket, that's the time we leverage
Mhm.
because real estate that time in the US is leveraging at the same time. And there's a lot of clients who contact us and asking for virtual assistants. So we had a lot of business during the pandemic, during the first hit of the pandemic, which is the 2020. That's when the time it boomed. Actually, during the 2020 year, which is our first year, I was able to hire and help Filipinos, like total of 400 Filipinos to get a job and to land with a client.
Wow,
That is
that was during the
2020,
pandemic, 2020
2020.
pandemic. Okay,
Yes. And
that's
then
great.
come 2021, my goal is to double the number, but we managed to triple it. So if I
Mm-hmm.
got 400 Filipinos to land a job with a client, then come 2021, I was able to help, you know, times three of 400 to find
Wow.
job and to land a client virtually as virtual assistant. And up until now, 2022, we are only half of the year. And I have already doubled the number of 2021. So if 2020 I got 400, 2021 I got 1,200 VAs hired. Right now I am managing 3,000 plus VAs
Wow.
actually.
Uh-huh. And in the Department of Labor and Employment actually mentioned that the unemployment rate, no, has actually went down. But still, there are 3.7 million Filipinos who are jobless. Either they are unemployed or even underemployed. So we could say that Spear Rocket has helped the country and the government in getting jobs during the pandemic. Yeah.
Yes, I guess so. Because since they are now trying to legalize, working from home, I
Mm-hmm.
know that the government had already implemented laws, about working from home. And they are really focusing on that because right now in the Philippines, it's still pandemic. Though companies are already going back to their normal operations, even call centers and BPOs here, they're starting to operate, on site on in their own business and offices. But there's still a lot of Filipinos who opted to work from home because they have experience, working at the comfort of their house with their own family and they don't need to travel back and forth and such.
Yeah. So, but this is what we call the now normal. No, we are now living with the different protocols. It depends on whatever municipality or city that you
Yeah,
are in. Yeah.
that's
So,
true.
in you've mentioned about the laws, but then during President Bongbong Marcos Sona, he actually mentioned that he will be taxing online jobs right now and online selling. What's your take on that,
Act-
ma'am?
I think it's only right because we working at the comfort of our home as
Uh
virtual
huh.
assistants because by right we should be paying our own taxes because we are earning.
Mm-hmm.
Because if we are working in a normal company, we are getting taxed.
Yes.
It
Yes.
is it is only being processed by the company for us. But
Mm-hmm.
since we are working virtually and we call ourselves as individual contractors or independent contractors or freelancers, we are still earning.
Yes.
So it is only right to pay taxes.
Yes, exactly. I totally agree. And I think so. I think it will be much more better because if we will be starting to pay our own taxes, we could actually have the other government benefits like the SSS, the PhilHealth, Pag-ibig, no. Because right
Yes.
now, virtual assistants or freelancers
No.
don't have that.
No, kasi ang virtual assistant
Mhm.
is you are not applying to a big company
Uh-huh.
na kung saan meron na silang mga benepisyo para sa mga empleyado na iha-hire nila.
Yes,
It's-
ma'am.
As a as a virtual assistant kasi, tayo mismo as virtual assistant ang nagbebenta ng sarili natin with the use of our skills, yung talent natin.
Hmm.
Mina-market natin yung sarili natin. It's not
Yes.
as if that there is a company na magbe-benefit, magbibigay sa
Uh-huh.
atin ng benefit. So kung tayo as a virtual assistant pakahanap ng kliyente, it's our own responsibility na kumuha ng SSS, pag-ibig, PhilHealth,
Yes.
HMO, kasi wala yan. Napakaswerte mo kung ang kliyenteng makukuha mo is so generous and you have built a certain working relationship and they are willing to cover it for you, which
Mhm.
happens actually.
Yes, actually, as a matter of fact, maraming ang generous na clients, no? But yun, if ever that we will be taxed, maybe we are also entitled with the other government benefits that would come with our taxes. But anyway, ma'am, we are actually very, very interested that before Spear Rocket, who is Ma'am Shireen before, no, now, and maybe the future of Ma'am Shireen in Spear Rocket?
Actually, I started in a BPO call center. I was
Mm-hmm.
working in a BPO call center as a call center agent, and then I became a team manager and then operations manager. And I've worked in a BPO industry for almost 12 years, different call
Wow.
center. I would say I'm a call center hopper that time because I was young, testing all the waters and such. And then I decided to work overseas. And I went to Singapore. I've worked there for almost 10 years and I've worked with multinational companies like telco, internet service provider, SaaS company, credit bureau services and information. And my last job in Singapore is a branch manager of one of the learning center,
Mhm.
one of the best learning centers in Singapore. And then that's the time I decided to go back here in Philippines. And during that time when I went back here, or before I go back here in the Philippines, my only prayer was I don't want to go back to call center, to be honest. Because I hate traveling. Because I experienced working. I'm from Manila. I'm from Alabang, which is south.
Mhm.
So my first call center is in Ortigas, which is like 2 to 3 hours away from me. And with the traffic
Wow.
jam,
Yeah.
it's really exhausting and very tiring. Going there 3 hours and then after shift in the morning, you are very tired, very sleepy. It's also traffic, you know.
Mhm.
So it's like I'm wasting 6 hours of my time just to travel, and then I will only have little time for myself to sleep. So that's only my prayer. I don't want to go back to call center, and I don't want to take calls, to be honest, because I graduated from there. So my what I include in my prayer is if I can work, at the comfort of my home, because I've heard a lot of opportunities about freelancing and virtual assistant. And to be honest, while I was in Singapore, 2 years before I go back here for good, I already am working as a real estate virtual assistant for a client in North Carolina, which is from Keller Williams. So I was working part time, and during business hours, I'm working in Singapore. So pag uwi ko, I have, 4 hours to work for that US-based client. So meron na akong idea how it works and how it goes. So sabi ko, hey Lord, na if ever na bibigyan ako ng pagkakataon, yun na lang sana. But before ako talaga mag-settle down into working from home, after ko umuwi dito 2018, nagpahinga. That was Christmas time. So I enjoyed my time with the family, celebrated the holidays. And then come January 2019, I went to Dubai to travel just to, give time for myself because I've been working for almost 10 years in the Singapore, like the normal OFW. And the bad side of it is I was unable to save. Ika nga nila, hindi lahat ng nag-abroad sinuswerte,
Mhm.
you know? And to be honest, baon pa ako sa utang noon nung 10 years ko sa Singapore because I'm a single mom and all of my kids are dependent on me and I'm the one supporting them financially. So with the cost of living in Singapore, it's really very hard to save. Not unless you are really single and you don't need to send back money to your family or parents, then that's the time you can live your life to the fullest in Singapore because Singapore is one of the expensive countries in the
Yes,
world.
yes.
And cost of living there, the food, house is really expensive. So I can say I wasn't able to save. So 2019, I went to Dubai. I just meet some of my friends there, my high school friends, college friends, and my friends from the call center industry who happened to be working in Dubai. So I stayed there for 3 months and then I went back here.
Mhm.
So I traveled for leisure. And then come June 2019, that is when I really decided that I'll focus 300% in working from home. I work as a freelancer. I even experience working for different clients at the same time. You know, the The maximum client that I was able to handle that time, all US based, is four clients at the time
Uh-huh. Wow,
as
four
a
clients.
freelancer.
Yeah.
Four clients. I'm working. Two of them is part time, and two of them is full time.
Hmm.
And just for me to earn, because my goal that time is I want to have savings.
Yes.
So I was able to achieve that. And my only mindset that time is if I can give 100% to one client, I need to give 100% to other third. And my only assurance to the clients is I won't waste their time with the name that I am carrying as Sheryn Mendoza. Once they hire me, they will not be letting me go. They will not allow me to go. But I met Justin, which is the CEO and founder of Sphere Rocket. He posted in Facebook that time in one of the VA groups in Facebook, and he was looking for a VA, a virtual assistant who can help him with the business. And he posted some instructions on how you're going to send your credentials and such, but I did the opposite. In his instructions, he said to send an email with your resume, with your desk profile, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. And you need to answer some of the questions that he was asking. But what I did is I messaged him directly in Facebook. And that is where I send my resume, because my resume is a 7-page resume. It all says there
Wow.
that
Yeah.
you don't need to interview me. Actually, if you're only going to give time to read my resume, then you don't need to interview me, because everything is there summarized. But even if I summarizes it, it's still 7 page. I can no longer remove
I
some of it.
understand, ma'am. Yeah.
So yeah, and then I was able to catch his attention, but not right away. It took him like 3 or 5 days before he responded. That was
Uh-huh.
December 2019. And it's like I sent my application December 23rd when I messaged him on Facebook, and then he responded like after Christmas, like 26th or 27th. And he interviewed me over the phone. He called me in Messenger. And that is where all it started. And initially, I was only working as his executive admin slash virtual assistant who is working side by side with him. And then come 2020, to be honest, I started working with him January 1, 2020, which is really New Year. So I was working hand in hand with him because that time he is traveling back and forth and across United States. He's doing
Hmm.
coaching with other real estate agents on how they're going to leverage their business. So I'm helping him with admin, calling clients, financials, and all the admin things. I'm helping him with that, with the marketing aspect of the business as well. I'm helping him on that. And then suddenly pandemic comes, which is February, March, you know.
Yes, it's March.
So the world shut down, the world locks down. And some businesses close down because the pandemic is really, really bad that time. So Justin cannot travel anymore and he can no longer do the coaching. So what he did is he challenged me to build a
Mhm.
recruitment team. And I know nothing about recruitment team. The only info about recruitment is I was once an applicant, but
Yeah.
I never know anything about building a process about recruitment and such, the interview process. So it's like I was challenged and it's really very hard. And I was able to come up with my own process in Sphere Rocket. And during that time when I'm starting the recruitment process with him, it's a one-man job. So from sourcing, first interview, second interview, third interview, background check, final interview with clients, onboarding clients, training the VA, managing the VA. So those are 10 steps that you need to do. I'm doing it all along
Wow.
on my own.
Superwoman.
So
Yeah.
yes, I was able to do that. And then after 21 days, I was able to build the Sphere Rocket recruitment team. And that's when I started hiring more people to help me, with the process and everything. And right now, I can say that I have 70 plus internal team members, which is all based in the Philippines, all over the Philippines, Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. And I think the best thing that ever happened to me and Justin is we have this very good working relationship.
Uh-huh.
I've mentioned I was once his VA, and since day one, I've been proving myself to him. Though he has been telling me that you don't need to prove yourself, but it's only me. I am consistent from day one, and that's the time also that he gave me a share of the company. And since we are already registered here in the Philippines, he gave me the Philippines company under my name, together with him as well.
Wow.
So,
Yeah. So we have two CEOs. Justin is the CEO in the US, and
yes,
you, Ma'am Sheryn, is the CEO here in the Philippines. Am I correct?
yes.
Yeah.
And I'm also the CEO for some of the USA team members because operations wise, I'm the one managing and taking care of all the team members.
Yeah, exciting. So you mentioned a while ago, ma'am, no, the being a freelancer or being a virtual assistant, it's kind of interesting. But can you give us a ballpark estimate, like how much can Filipinos earn?
When I was starting, actually, it depends. When I
Mhm.
was starting, there are clients who are paying Filipinos like $1 per hour or $1.50. But
Wow. Yeah,
and there
it's
are a
low.
lot of and there are a lot of Filipinos who are accepting the job offer just for
Mhm.
them to get the job, for them to have earning during the pandemic.
Yes, yes.
But there's a lot of people also who have been in the VA agency who have made their names already and working for a lot of clients, working for different clients for a very long time. So you that time, ang tanda ko, um, pinakamababa ng offer na kinukuha ng mga experienced VA is $5 and above.
Mhm.
And minsan kahit walang experience sa pag-VA, sila pa yung mas mataas ang sweldo kasi galing sila sa corporate world, galing sa call
Ah,
center,
yes,
and
yes.
sila yung mga team manager,
Ah.
and malalaki na yung sweldo nila. So, ang thinking nila is pag nag-apply sila work from home, makukuha nila yung same amount. But
Mhm.
hindi nangyayari all the time. Merong client na may makikilala ka na generous na kayang ibigay yung hinihingi mo, pero most of them is not, you know. So, if you are a starter in Sphere Rocket, if you are a non-experienced applicant, you can earn $3 to $4 per hour.
Okay. So in pesos, like how much is that in a month?
Like, depends on the currency, 23 to 26, 27,000 per month.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah, as a starter, it's also as if you are working in a call center, mas mataas pa nga. Kasi sa call
Mhm.
center, pag non-experience ka, I think 12 to 15,000 lang
Yes,
per
yes,
month.
exactly. Yeah. 12 to
Babiyahe ka
15,000.
pa, di ba?
Biyahe ka pa, kakain ka
Magta-travel
pa
ka.
sa labas. You know?
Yes,
Yeah.
gastos pa. So, ayun. And then, pag may experience ka naman, usually $5 to $6 or more than that. Depende sa experience mo and sa skill set mo. Kung kaya mo namang taasan at alam mong kaya mong gawin yung trabaho and you can prove yourself, there's a lot of clients who are willing to give the offer. Meron kami mga applicant na $10, $20
Oh,
hinihingi.
$20 per hour.
Yes.
So if it's $20, that's like around $400, or how much is that? Like in a
If $20
times
per
40
hour
hours,
times 40 hours, it's
that's 400, $800. Yeah.
$800 a week.
A week. Yeah.
So, a week. So, kasi 40 hours is 5 days lang
Mm-hmm.
eh, di ba? So,
Opo.
a week, $800 times 50 mo na, it's 40,000.
Mm-hmm.
Di ba?
For a week.
For a week, times
Uh-huh.
4. Kasi 4 weeks in a month. So,
Oo.
kung 40,000 ka,
160.
160 ang kaya mong
Wow,
kitain.
that's 160,000 a month. No?
Yes. And walang tax. Makukuha mo ng buo yun. Diba?
Wala pang tax.
Wala pang tax. So, nasa sayo
Oo.
na lang kung magiging tax evader ka o magbabayad ka. So, ayun.
This is Mike and Ham from Please Pause. Meron kaming munting podcast where we talk about all things TV and film. And despite that, surprisingly, we are still married.
Control freak ka kasi sa podcast na to.
30 seconds lang po ang meron tayo. Pakibilisan.
From blockbusters to classics, superheroes to love teams, hit series to teleseries, join us as we have meaningful and meaningless conversations on the stuff we watched. Someday, mababago ka rin ang tagline na yan.
Check out Please Pause on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and other major podcast platforms.
See you there!
Hi, my name is Mark Edem and I'm the host of Quantox the Podcast, a podcast show that we can discuss different hot trending topics from love, social media, politics, and many more. May pagkulitan makipagkwentuhan lang dito sa Quantox the Podcast. See you there!
Wow, it's like there's a possibility. So the lowest is like around $27, 27,000. Sorry, no, 27,000, and it could go as high as 160,000 per month. We're talking about per month. No,
Yes.
wow,
Nakakaengganyo sa...
nakakaengganyo.
Yes. Sa akin, sa internal team member ko, ang goal ko kasi is magbigay ng opportunity, especially sa mga non-experienced VAs, yung wala talagang idea about VAs and about recruitment. Ako na lang yung nagtitrain sa kanila o kaya yung mga team members namin na tenured na with my own process and with my own training. Pag wala kang experience sa amin, ang inaano namin is $400 per month, which is like 20 to 23 depending sa currency rate, sa exchange rate. And then, ang maganda kasi sa amin nun is we are helping them to grow and leverage. So, hindi magme-maintain ng 23 to 25,000 lang ang sweldo mo. Bago sila mag 1 year, nasa ano na sila, 40, 50,000.
Wow.
Kinikita nila.
Nakakaengganyo, no? Ang
Yes.
sarap mag-apply. Pero, may question kasi tayo from the viewers, no? Sabi nga nila, they're actually intimidated because you are so fluent in English. So, does this mean that when I apply in Sphere Rocket, I need to be as fluent as Ma'am Sheryn Mendoza?
If you will be working for a client which is US-based or UK-based, even if hindi ka nag-apply sa Sphere Rocket o sa ibang agency ka nag-apply, you need to be. Kasi sa ibang bansa sila eh. And you need to somehow communicate in their own language. Kasi hindi mo naman mapagtatagalog, mapagbibisaya ang Amerikano. So, somehow, meron naman kaming nakaka-hire na hindi ganun ka-fluent, but comprehension-wise, magaling umintindi. Okay lang.
Okay lang.
Oo. Marami
Paano
na din
kung
kaming
barok
na-hire na
English,
ganun.
ma'am?
Ayun nga lang. Usually kami sa Sphere Rocket, tinuturuan namin yung aplikante. Lalo't alam namin yung skill set niya, pasok na pasok doon sa hinahanap ng kliyente. At execution-wise, alam namin magaling talaga siya kasi makikita mo sa portfolio, sa resume. Pero pagdating sa interview, mahina. Ang ginagawa namin is, tinuturuan namin sa interview process pa lang yung aplikante para maipanalo niya yung final interview niya with the client. And then, sa client side naman, binibigyan namin ng information yung kliyente na hindi siya ganun kagaling mag-English. You know, kasi sa Sphere Rocket, ang pinaka may desisyon para mag-hire is ang kliyente.
Okay.
Diba? Sila naman talaga ang magde-decide. Pero they also consider our recommendation. Especially mine. So minsan may mga client na lalapit sa akin, if Sheryn will interview them and Sheryn will recommend them to me, then I'll hire them. So minsan, pag ako na yung nag-i-interview, talagang sinasabihan ko yung kliyente na he's not a good speaker. Hindi siya ganun kagaling mag-English. Communication skills-wise, baka magka-problem kayo and all. So it's up to you if you wanna take a risk. Pero execution-wise, skill set-wise, alam kong kakayanin niya. And all. Yung iba naman, doon na lang natututo, nasasanay na kasing kausapin yung kliyente nila, nakapractice nila. So, mas maganda kung communication skills-wise is marunong na. Diba? So, I advise kung talagang ang problema nila is English communication, watch English movies, magbasa ng English books, and all. Yun lang.
So kung sakali, ma'am, no, like, sorry to cut you, but kung sakali pwede na average English or do you suggest that it should be 100% or 10 over 10 English na.
Hindi naman, as long as you can communicate. If
Mhm.
if you can communicate on a daily basis like this,
Yes.
na dire-diretso, masasanay ka din naman eh. Pag nakakatrabaho mo na yung kliyente at nahuli mo na yung working style ng kliyente mo, kung
Mhm.
paano mo kausapin and all, masasanay ka na din, di mo mapapansin kahit tulog ka, nag-i-English ka. Talagang ganun. Pero mas
Yes.
maganda talaga na marunong ka na pagdating sa interview kasi syempre, ang mga recruiters, tinitingnan yon yung communication skills kasi nga taga ibang bansa yung makakatrabaho, di
Yes.
ba?
Tama
Pero
naman. Oo.
meron kaming na-encounter during the interview, meron silang mga feelers na ano, ganyan, gaano, at saka ano, yung during the interview ng mga
Yes,
team
yes.
members ko, nababasa nila, nababanggit nila yun, na caught in recording. Kaya after the interview, pinagsasabihan na lang din, you need to minimize and all, remove mo yung feelers mo na Tagalog, kasi sanay tayong Pilipino na ganun eh.
Ah.
Kaya, sinasabihan namin, binibigyan namin ng advice. And pag minsan yung mga recruiters ko, lalapit sa akin, hihingi ng advice, Miss Sheryn, magaling siya talaga eh. Kitang-kita ko eh, feel ko eh. Kasi minsan naman as a recruiter, hindi lang basta resume ang titingnan mo. Kasi ang
Mhm.
resume, madaling doktorin. Di ba?
Exactly. Yes, ma'am.
Kahit ano pwede kong ilagay sa resume ko. Pero pagdating ng interview at kapag nasa trabaho na, kaya mo bang panindigan? Di
Mhm.
ba? And minsan din sinasabihan ko ang mga recruiter ko na pakiramdaman nyo kung sino yung kausap nyo. 'Di ba? If you feel na kaya nung aplikante and all, ipasa nyo. Kasi
Yes.
madaling turuan eh. Basta ang isang
Mhm.
tao ay willing matuto.
Willing. Yes,
Gaya
it's
na,
the willingness. Opo.
gaya na lang ng sinasabi ko sa mga team members ko, nung nag-apply kayo sa akin, wala kayong experience sa recruitment. Galing kayong call center, galing kayo ng corporate world, wala kayo talagang experience. Pero binigyan ko kayo ng oportunidad. Nagtiwala ako sa kakayahan nyo. Hindi dahil maganda yung resume nyo, hindi dahil magaling kang magsalita, plus points na lang yon, pero alam kong kakayanin mo. So, gawin natin sa iba.
Mhm.
Kaya marami ding aplikanteng natutuwa na alam nilang hindi sila magaling mag-English, wala silang alam sa real estate, galing silang call center or secretary sa government, sa isang mayor, galing sa bangko and all. Natutuwa sila kasi pumapasa.
Yes, ma'am. So, ano yung like, what could you say, like, for example, someone, no, maybe even a fresh graduate from grade 12 or
Hmm.
just college dropout or someone in college, no, ano yung pinaka minimum requirement na dadalhin nila para masasabi natin that they are qualified to apply? Kung sinasabi niyo, ma'am, na they don't need naman na they need to be really that fluent in English with all the diction, no?
No.
The slang,
Kasi
you know?
sa English communication skills naman natin, alam ng taga-US na we don't have the accent.
Yes,
We
yes.
we only have the neutral accent, neutral lang. So,
Mhm.
kahit ako pag nagsasalita ako, wala akong accent. Wala ako yung American accent. Neutral lang ako kasi hindi natin mother tongue ang English eh. Second
Yes,
language lang ng mga Pilipino ang English, 'di ba?
yes, yes, exactly.
So, naintindihan nila yon as long as understandable yung mga words na binibigkas mo at naiintindihan at pag nagsabi ka ng isang sentence andun yung thought, okay na yun sa kanila. At ang
Uh-huh.
mahalaga kasi naiintindihan mo yung sinasabi ng magiging kliyente mo o ng kliyente mo, lalo na pag nagbigay ng instruction.
Yes. So
Yun ang
comprehension,
importante
no?
talaga.
Comprehension.
Comprehension.
Yes, not only communication but also
Yes.
comprehension.
Oo nga, magaling ka nga magsalita pero hindi ka naman marunong umintindi. It doesn't
Yes,
make sense.
useless.
So,
Exactly.
I would rather na mas magaling kang magaling ka sa comprehension, naiintindihan mo yung sinasabi ko, nai-execute mo, pero speaking wise, meron kasing hirap alam mo yun, i-express yung
Uh-huh.
sarili nila sa pagsasalita, pero sa writing magaling. Merong
Yeah.
ibang ganon. Kasi alam na nilang hindi sila magaling magsalita ng English, so wala silang confidence. Kaya lalong bumababa yung self-esteem nila. Pero marami nakakapasa actually.
Mhm. Yun. Especially kung yung instruction nyo with your team members, sabi nyo nga, pakiramdaman nila and to give opportunity. No, it's not
And
only
sometimes
on
sometimes it's the personality that matters.
personality.
Yes.
So yun sa
Hin-
disc personality ba yan, no? I think you have a disc personality exam that they need to
yes.
take. Yeah?
The reason why is because ang real estate sa US, ang mga real estate business owners sa US is meron silang parang multiple personality kung tawagin.
Uh-huh.
Pagkaharap nila yung mga kliyente nila, iba sila. At iba din sila pag may katrabaho sila.
Uh-huh.
So pag sa disc personality kasi, what we're using is Tony Robbins. So pag ang kliyente is Heidi, hindi sila kukuha ng Heidi din or else magka-clash sila.
Mhm.
So kailangan opposite yung mapapasunod nila. Depende sa trabahong ipapagawa nila. That is the purpose of the disc personality. Pero naman ako, sinasabi ko sa mga kliyente is, sometimes it's okay din na kuhanin mo yung same personality type mo kasi minsan nagja-jive.
Mhm.
Pero sa
Nag-a-adapt
real
sila.
estate, pero kasi sa real estate, hindi daw sila swerte sa ganun. Pag pareho ng personality, nagka-clash, nag-aaway, hindi nagiging maganda yung relasyon. Sa akin naman, ang binibigay kong example is kaming dalawa ni Justin. Justin is Heidi and I am Heidi. Pero we complement each other.
Yes, yes.
It's because siguro na din sa personality ko, yung adjustment ko pagdating sa isang tao mahaba and yung pasensya ko is mahaba.
Uh-huh.
Alam mo yon? Yun siguro din. Depende din sa personalidad ng isang tao.
Uh-huh.
Naiintindihan ko. Kasi Justin is only 25 years old. And how old am I?
He's young. He's young, huh? He's 25.
He's young. And he's a billionaire right now.
Wow.
25 years old siya and is like he's half of my age.
Mhm.
It's like we are 18 years gap. So for me, mature akong mag-isip, mature ako sa buhay, and mature ako sa negosyo, sa pagiging isang nanay ako eh. Di ba?
Mhm.
Natural sa nanay yun eh. And siya, mature siya pagdating sa negosyo niya. Though may pagka-playful siya kasi batang, alam mo yon and all. So nababalance out ko. So,
Mhm.
depende na din sa personality ng isang aplikante din. Yun din ang sinasabi ko sa kliyente, look at the personality. Because if I give you someone na merong 15 years of experience sa real estate, na kayang gawin lahat ng gusto mong ipagawa, pero personality-wise, hindi mo gusto yung aplikante, wala mangyayari. Madi-disregard yung experience niya. Di ba?
Yes, yes.
Yun ang lagi kong pinare-realize sa client na it's not always the experience. Minsan, kung sino pa yung non-experience, sila yung makakatrabaho mo talaga ng matagal.
Yes.
Kaya yun.
Well, maybe also no, ma'am, one factor that could add to that is because for Filipinos naman, we are really flexible when it comes
Yes.
to working. You know, even if sometimes outside you have this highly personality, once you go to the corporate, sometimes nagbabago rin siya. You know, yan, because Filipinos are flexible and adaptable. Maybe it's one also that we could apply even if they are foreign
Yes,
employees.
I agree. Mhm. But, meron ding downside.
Mhm.
Ngayon, kasi sa mga virtual assistant natin ngayon, marami na ang lumalaki ang ulo. Minsan, pag binigyan sila ng trabaho ng maraming kliyente nila, they're asking for more pay. Which is okay lang naman. Di ba? Know your worth as a virtual assistant. Pero, ang akin lang kasi, dati galing tayo sa corporate world. Ang dami-dami nating ginagawa, pero wala tayong pay increase. So yung
Yes.
iba dahil sa sobrang bait ng kliyente nila, nagte-take advantage na. Yun
Yeah.
dapat yung maraming Pilipino na aspiring na dahil yung isang kliyente may na-experience na ganun, hingi ng pay increase yung isang VA, parang ayaw na niya mag-hire tuloy ng Filipino kasi baka ma-experience na ulit yung same. So nakakaawa yung mga ibang aspiring VA na di ba? So, ganun yung nangyayari ngayon.
It has an adverse impact dun sa
Yes.
VA industry as a whole, hindi lang
Yes.
sa Spear Rocket, no?
Hindi lang, we do experience. Kahit sa amin sa Spear Rocket, tumataas ang requirements ng kliyente talaga pagdating. Kasi lalo na pag nagkaroon na sila ng VA from other VA agency at nakwento nila kung ano yung naging relationship ng VA, talagang dumadami yung requirements nila na hahanapin mo sa susunod na VA na ibibigay mo sa kanila. And how are you going to gauge? Kasi hindi mo naman kilala ng personal yung aplikante, di ba? So it's always a risk in hiring someone. So we can only vet the applicants best way we can.
Yeah. You mentioned a while ago kanina, ma'am, no, na there's also at times that the VAs and the clients, the employees, employers actually fight. So how do you handle these things?
Tayo namang mga Pilipino, very seldom sa atin yung talagang makikipag-argue.
Mhm.
Kasi employer pa rin naman natin yan, di ba? Ang problema kasi sa ating mga Pilipino, pag napagalitan, sumasama ang loob. Di ba? Normal yan sa
Yes.
Pilipino. So, kahit gaano ka kagaling, hindi ka naman papagalitan kung walang nakikitang mali.
Mali. Yeah.
Siyempre kasi, susundin mo yung gusto ng kliyente mo.
Uh-huh.
Negosyo na yun, business na yun, alam niyang patakbuhin. At kaya siya nag-hire ng isang VA is para tulungan siya i-execute yung mga bagay na hindi na niya nagagawa. Para yung oras niya is kumuha ng iba pang kliyente para lumago ng lumago yung negosyo, yung business, di
Yes,
ba?
yes.
Eh meron kasing Pilipino na medyo, ayun nga, lumalaki na ang ulo pag napagalitan, emotional at the same time. Pag
Yes.
napagalitan, dinadamdam, bigla na lang mag-MIA. Alam mo yon, maraming ganun.
MIA, missing in action.
Yes,
yeah.
nag-aawol, marami. Magme-message na lang mga kliyente namin, nawawala si Nick, can you call Nick? Parang ganyan.
Yes,
So
yes.
kami, tatawag kami. Meron namang mga Pilipino talaga na underperforming. Marami talaga na kahit binigyan na ng multiple chances ng kliyente. Ang gusto kasi ng kliyente is snappy ka. Yung, kasi fast-paced environment ang virtual world eh. And ang mga kliyente, usually busy yan. Wala silang time para umupo ng ganito at ititrain kita one by one. So, kailangan ikaw bilang VA, turuan mo yung sarili mong maging self-reliant.
Oo. You have the initiative to learn.
Yes, and you need to be proactive. Kahit hindi ka turuan, magre-research ka na paano gawin to, paano gawin yan, and all. Meron kasing iba na dahil galing sa call center, trained kasi sa call center, di ba? Hinahanap nila yung ganong training. Magkaiba nga ang virtual world. Dahil marami silang nakikitang advertisement sa social media platforms na si VA kumikita ng ganito kalaki. Kala nila ganun lang kadali. Hindi nila alam na pinaghirapan yun nung VA na yun kung bakit niya na-achieve yung sweldo na niya yun. Hindi mangyayari yun overnight na isang pitik na, ay, alam ko na yung gustong gawin ng kliyente. Lahat, it's a phase talaga. Yung iba kasi gusto din kumita ng madalian. Kaya mahirap din eh. At yung iba, pag nahirapan na, ayaw na. So, ayun yung usually na nagiging problema ng kliyente talaga, to be honest. And what I do is, I help. Because yun yung trabaho ko. I help the client to manage their VAs. Pag underperforming, kino-coach ng team namin, bibigay kami ng feedback, hinihinga namin ng feedback yung client, ano bang naging problema, ano ba ang observation mo. Nire-relay namin yun sa VA. Kasi merong mga client na hindi nagpi-feedback sa mga VA nila kasi ayaw nilang makasakit. Kasi ang Americans is like that. Ayaw nilang maging straightforward. Soft-hearted pa nga sila. Hanggat maaari, hindi ka nila pinapagalitan ka na pala, pero ang boses napaka-monotone. Napakahina.
Akala ko
Oo.
mga Caucasians, they are really straightforward na pag ayaw nila, diretso sasabihin nila.
Sa amin na mas marami ang talagang Siguro darating sa
Mellow.
point na ganong, mellow. Siguro darating sa point na ganon, pag yung pamali-mali ka na talaga at kahit anong feedback, hindi ka nag-i-improve. Talagang aabot tayo sa puntong magiging straightforward na ako sa'yo na paulit-ulit na lang tayo and all. Pero yung pag nakikita naman na nag-i-improve ka, hindi nga alam ng VA, pinagagalitan na pala siya. Meron namang ibang kliyente, hindi mag-feedback pero nag-o-observe, one day bigla na lang magde-decide, I'm letting my VA go. Hindi ko nakikita yung potential sa kanya. Pag gano'n na, wala na ako magagawa. Di ba? So,
yeah. Parang wala siyang feedback whatsoever and then suddenly tatanggalin na lang biglaan.
nagpi-feedback naman siya sa VA niya, pero si VA hindi niya nakikitaan ng improvement.
Okay.
Kasi minsan si VA kasi sa sobrang bait ng kliyente, nagiging complacent. Which we should not be complacent at all times.
Yes.
Ugali na din natin yan eh. Lalo na pag sanay na tayo sa ginagawa natin. We tend to be complacent. Hindi na tayo nag-e-effort. Dapat laging may effort eh. Kaya yun ang nagiging problema. Performing ka nung una and then suddenly yung performance mo magde-dip. Magtataka na yun si client. Anong problema? And usually minsan bakit umaayaw ang kliyente is tinetake advantage ng ibang virtual assistant din. Inuutangan. Alam mo, it happens. Minsan, ako na lang.
Grabe mama. Mangungutang talaga sila sa client.
Hindi to joke. I have experienced na talagang kulang na lang magtakip ako ng muka. Parang wala na akong maiharap na muka sa kliyente. Kasi yung VA niya, like for example, matatawa ka sa mga scenarios talaga. Parang nahihiya ako at ewan ko ba, parang yung kliyente lalapit sa akin. Yung VA ko, unang-una pandemic. Sabi yung VA ko pandemic, hindi daw mailabas yung anak. Kailangan daw nilang bumili ng kotse. Ngayon, nanghihiram ng pambili ng kotse sa akin. Tama ba naman? Manghihingi ka ng pambili ng kotse sa
Pang
VA.
down.
Di ba pang down? Meron pang isa. Yung VA ko gustong mag-start ng business niya, nanghihiram ng pangkapital. Tama ba naman yun? Di ba kung gusto mo magnegosyo at gusto mo bumili ng luho like kotse, paghirapan mo. Yung
Tama.
ibang kliyente, sobrang bait. Binibigyan ng binibigyan hanggang sa tinitake advantage na ng VA na parang every week na lang parang napakamalas naman ng buhay ng kliyente. Nasa ospital, nasunugan, nakunan. Diyos ko, ikaw yung mahihiya na parang magti-think twice ka. Totoo bang nangyayari yun? Na parang sinukluban naman ng langit at lupa, niliparan ng bubong dahil bumagyo. Sumunod na linggo, na ospital yung nanay. Hindi pwedeng mangyari. Pero parang
Yes. It's too
ginagawa na lang ng
much.
risk. Too much na lang. Kaya nasisira yung credibility natin at integrity
Mhm.
ng mga ibang Pilipinong maayos bilang virtual assistant sa mga kliyente nila.
Tama. Kung sakali, ma'am, no, have you ever encountered, kasi marami din mga nag-venture into VA or being a virtual assistant who are business owners or katulad yun, ma'am, no, mostly real estate yung mga clients nyo, mga dating mga real estate agents galing sa mga sikat na real estate dito sa Pilipinas, and then feeling nila mas magaling na sila sa client nila. So, have you ever encountered mga ganun?
Oo, marami. Maraming ganyan. Minsan nga kahit hindi galing sa real estate eh. Talagang nagmamagaling si VA kasi marami na siyang kliyenteng nakatrabaho before.
Mhm.
Pero kasi pag hinire ka ng isang kliyente pa rin ang masusunod.
Client, yes, of course, of course.
Diba? You need to follow what the client wants and you need to give what the client needs. Yun dapat. Kung marunong ka man, it's just a matter of us suggesting. Ito
Mhm.
yung ginagawa ko before. Baka
Yes,
gusto
yes.
mong gawin natin. Pero
Uh-huh.
it's still up to the client kung gagawin nga natin or hindi, or i-implement natin.
Yes.
Diba? Pero yung iba kasi, hindi, ito yung ginawa namin, so ito dapat gawin natin. So si client parang nabibigla. Negosyo ko to parang ba't ako ngayon ang susunod sa'yo? Merong ganun, it happens.
Okay.
So, sa mga real estate naman dito sa Philippines natin kasi, medyo may kaibahan sa real estate sa US.
Yes,
Total
exactly.
different siya.
Totally different. Yeah.
Totally different. Pero yung ibang terms, nagkakapareho, which can help them. Pero
Mhm.
kasi sa US, ang real estate depende sa state eh. May kanya-kanyang laws.
Yes,
So,
yes. No?
paiba-iba talaga. Kung ang dating kliyente mo is nasa New York at yung sumunod na kliyente mo nasa Florida, hindi pwedeng magkaibang batas. Hindi pwedeng pareho ng batas yan. So, may maiiba sa real estate ng Florida. Susundin mo yung batas ng Florida. So, ganun ang mga kaibahan sa kanila. Na kailangan mong pag-aralan, di ba? As a VA ka.
Yes. Kaya kailangan familiar ka sa lahat ng mga yan.
Mhm. Yes.
So, ma'am, what do you think is your vision for Spear Racket? Ngayon na, you mentioned that you have like around more than 3,000, no? Starting from 400, ngayon meron na kayong more than 3,000 VA. And you just started in 2020?
20. Yeah.
Yeah,
In 2.5
2020
years.
February.
In 2.5 years, we were
Mhm.
able to help Filipinos, total of 3,000 plus, and we are still
Wow.
counting.
Uh-huh. So
No?
what's the vision behind Spear Rocket? What's the future of Spear Rocket? What can we expect?
Continue changing people's lives because that's what we do. And we help Filipino in changing their lives for the better as a virtual assistant. But of course, we are only a medium. Sphere Rocket is only a medium to someone's success. You also need to work hard as an individual. So we will help you land a job, get a client. But of course, as a VA yourself, you need to help yourself also to be consistent at all times. And our goal is to help everyone. If only I can give each and every Filipino a job, I would do so because I've experienced hitting rock bottom. Malubog sa utang, mawala ng trabaho. I've experienced that. hindi lang dito sa Pilipinas, pati abroad. Na-experience ko yan. And now, I'm at this stage of my life na marami akong natutulungan. Ang feeling ko ngayon is, I don't want to see someone na naghihirap at baod sa utang at walang trabaho. So, that's what we always say, me and Justin. We will help people to change their lives with the help of T-Rock. And we will continue hiring Filipinos because that's our number one goal. We only accept Filipinos. So the
Okay.
opportunity is only for Filipinos only.
So that would be what we could expect in Spur Rocket. So ngayon, ma'am, there are a lot of people, sabi ko nga, even until now, we have like 3.7 million and you'll be continuing to provide this employment to this 3.7 million unemployed Filipinos. No? So what's your final message sa mga unemployed? And meron pa yung mga underemployed, yung mga hindi masaya, mga nagtatrabaho sila but they are underpaid. Yung the others who are in the call center who's really having a hard time right now. I think in Baguio City, in one of the call centers there, in a week, they have an average of parang one case of COVID in a week. So it's 50% on work from home, 50% sa office. So yung mga nasa office daw, parang nabalitaan ko na nagkakaproblema sila kasi ito yung risk na nangyari, which kailangan nilang pumasok rin naman kasi without them entering, no work, no pay. No? So what do you think is your message to these people who are still unemployed and underemployed?
For those unemployed and underemployed, not for those unemployed first,
Mhm.
start upscaling yourself and your skills because it would be better na may idea ka na sa pag-virtual assistant
Mhm.
kahit hindi ka pa VA because it's one of your way pagdating sa interview. Ano ang perception and idea mo as a VA sa isang virtual assistant? Ano ba ginagawa ng VA? Conduct a research. There's a lot of resources over the internet, Google, YouTube. Free lahat. So, ang masasabi ko sa mga unemployed, instead of them playing Facebook, posting anything and everything on Facebook, use Facebook as a resource. Maraming information sa Facebook. Join VA groups. Doon pa lang yung mga tenured VAs na nag-share sila ng information, training materials, and all.
Mhm.
So, upskill yourself and mindset yourself. Kung talagang gusto nyong mag-virtual assistant for good at ayaw nyo na magtrabaho sa corporate world, ayaw nyo na magbumiyahe, it's fine, it's your decision. Pero, i-upskill nyo yung sarili nyo. Hindi porket may alam tayo, ngayon, okay na. Maganda, patuloy tayong natututo. Marami tayong natututunang bago. Kasi nga, right now, ang nagpapagalaw sa ating lahat is technology. Di ba? May imagine mo ba na because of the pandemic, makakapag-work from home ang tao? No. And because of the technology right now, maraming nabigyan, hindi lang ang Sphere Rocket at ibang VA agency, marami silang Pilipinong nabigyan ng trabaho because of internet. Di ba? So kung marunong ka nang gumamit ng basic computer skills, internet, at marunong ka maglaro ng Facebook mo, Instagram mo, you can also do your own research. And for those naman underemployed, if you are not happy with what you're doing, find passion in it. Minsan kasi, at ito ang lagi kong sinasabi sa team members ko, as a VA, at kahit anong trabaho, paulit-ulit mong gagawin ang ginagawa mo from day one. Tama ba ako? Kahit nasa call
Yes,
center ka,
yes.
araw-araw ka magtatawag, 8 hours. Walang pagbabago, 8 hours yan. Ngayon kung secretary ka, puro dokumento ang hahawakan mo. From day one, dokumento, pirma, dokumento. Ganun lahat ang magiging trabaho natin. Nasa opisina ka o nasa work from home ka.
Yes.
Iisa lang ang gagawin natin at paulit-ulit lang yan. Tayo mismo ang hahanap ng kaligayahan sa ginagawa natin. Find enjoyment in it. And whatever we're doing, find motivation in it. Hindi lang pamilya natin ang motivation natin. And mahalin natin ang trabaho. Kasi walang perpektong kumpanya. Walang perpektong kliyente. Pero kung magiging kontento ka sa ginagawa mo, magiging masaya ka. At walang madaling bagay sa mundo. Lahat pinaghihirapan. Di ba? Hindi naman gusto kong magkakotse. Ayan ang kotse. Babaksak sa langit. Di ba? Kailangan natin ng pera para makabili ng kotse. Gusto natin magkaroon ng magandang bahay. It's either magnenegosyo tayo o magtatrabaho tayo, mag-iipon tayo. Di ba? Hindi darating ang bahay na tutubo na lang mula sa lupa, aangat na ganyan. So, kailangan din ng sipag, tiyaga, ika nga ng mga kapwa Pilipino at ng matatanda nating mga magulang na sipag at tiyaga ang kailangan. Pag may tiyaga, may nilaga. Masarap ang ulam, di ba? So, ayun ang maia-advise ko sa kanila talaga na walang madaling bagay. Lahat paghirapan natin. And at the end of the day, pag na-achieve mo yung goal mo, sasabihin mo na lang, tatawanan mo na nga lang ang sarili mo eh. Dati, ako ganyan ako. Dati VA lang ako, pero eto na ako ngayon. Parang hindi ko ma-imagine na kaya ko pala. And number one also is samahan nyo ng dasal kung ano man ang gagawin. Isa yan sa napaka-importante. Na hanggang ngayon hindi nawawala sa akin na kahit eto na ako. Kung anong meron ako ngayon, hindi ko nilalagay sa isip ko, kaya nga ayoko lang din nakaharap sa camera. Kahit may humahanap sa akin, magpapa-interview, lagi ako naka-cam off. Ayokong nagpapa-interview and all, kahit sana sabi nga ni Justin, I'm famous. I'm getting exposed now. A lot of clients wanted to speak to you even in the US. Kahit mga virtual assistant agency sa US, kilala nila ako and all. Pero gusto nila akong makausap and all. Pero ako yung tumatanggi. Just, ika nga natin, hayaan nating nakatungtong yung paa natin sa lupa. Yun lang talaga. And sa skill set natin mga Pinoy, mga Pinoy matatalino tayo. Maparaan, ma-strategy, di ba? Minsan nga kahit hindi natin alam, ginagawa natin ang paraan eh. Paano natin gagawin? So, pagpatuloy natin yung ugaling Pilipinong ganun, na mapagkakatiwalaan tayo. Kasi tayo, naturalmente sa atin na matalino tayo eh. At kahit anong ibigay mo, ipagawa mo sa isang Pilipinong gagawa at gagawa ng paraan niya para magawa yung pinagagawa mo. So, normal na sa atin yung Pilipino. And consistency lang from day one. Kung nakahanap ka ng client day one, na-impress mo ang kliyente mo, impress the client all year round. 365 days. You know? Ganun lang dapat. And be honest sa kliyente nyo. And yung tiwala. Bumuo kayo ng tiwala na kahit kailan hindi mabibreak. Kasi iba pag tiwala. Integrity. Ika nga. Yun lang ang kaya natin panghawakan eh. Tandaan natin, trabahante pa rin tayo eh. Empleyado pa rin tayo. Diba? So, kung pinagkatiwalaan tayo ng isang kliyente para i-hire tayo as their VA, ibalik natin yung tiwala by performing very well. Ganun lang siya. Kahit pagalitan tayo, normal lang yan. Pagalitan, pasok dito, labas sa kabilang tenga, and then, as long as you are not repeating the same mistake over and over again, matutuwa at matutuwa ang kliyente mo sa inyo.
Yes, tama. Yun.
So,
So,
yeah.
very well said, ma'am, no? And for that, thank you very much for helping a lot of Filipinos this pandemic, no? And I'm actually one of them also. I'm also a virtual assistant in Spirit Rocket. I'm proud to be one. And ma'am, ito yung, sa mga gustong mag-apply, saan po sila pwede mag-apply? Where can they contact you or where can they actually send their resumes?
Oh, for those aspiring applicants who wanted to be part of Sphere Rocket VA, you can send your applications to va@sphererocket.com or you can send it to my email directly, Sheryn@sphererocket.com.
There you
Yeah.
go. So, thank you very much once again for joining us here only in the Philippines with Nexatur, Ma'am Sheryn Mendoza, the CEO on-site of Spear Rocket Philippines. Ayun, maraming salamat, ma'am. And we hope that we could have you next time and to discuss naman yung different topics about being a virtual assistant. Thank you very
Sure.
much, ma'am.
No problem. It's my pleasure. And I'm willing to share a lot of experiences. If I can inspire someone, I want to inspire more people. So just let me know. I'm all up for it.
There you go. Thank you very much, ma'am. And I'm sure that a lot of people, after watching this episode, they will be inspired. Now, to those who are unemployed right now, please visit Spear Rocket. You could visit them in their Facebook page. You could also visit them. You can just Google them actually, and you could already
Yes.
see no everything about Spear Rocket. No, and to those naman sa mga underemployed who are out there, you are always welcome sa Spear Rocket. Sabi nga ni Ma'am Shireen. No, and there you go. And again, sorry we don't have much time. Thank you very much, and good day to each and every one of you. I hope that I will see you on our next episode only in the Philippines with Nick Sator Jr.
Unpacking social, political, and economic issues only in the Philippines with Nick Satur Jr.